The first able-bodied individuals have received a brain-computer interface. Now, this is really important because data has to come from healthy individuals, too. However, there are a lot of concerns with cybersecurity, and that has been an issue for medical devices for some time. This was conducted by a company called Precision Neuroscience, and yes, it happened in the US. Normally, brain chips go to people who are profoundly disabled. They've been used to restore the ability to speak, for example, by reading the internal monologue using the patterns in your brain. This one is far less invasive than other brain implants because it doesn't actually go inside the brain, it just sits on top of it. Of course, there still are a lot of worries. Anytime you open up your skull, you are risking things like infection, and that thing could corrode, but I have more concerns about hacking these days. Medical devices are already a huge security risk because you are talking about something that must connect to a computer that goes inside of somebody's body and takes care of some pretty important things, and a brain is a pretty important thing. For many of these devices, the risk comes when they connect to a computer for things like diagnostics, but if something has to continuously operate and can communicate two ways, well, that is particularly vulnerable. This is why most of the problems that have occurred have been in medical software, although there have been a few instances with cardiac devices, especially if they are continuously monitored for function, there is that communication, and that makes them vulnerable. Now, of course, neural privacy is a huge concern when it comes to BCIs. More than just being concerned about people hacking your BCI, you might be concerned about how your data is being used, because something that is connected to your brain and monitoring your brain could potentially be used to monitor how you feel when you look at something or what is most effective. And that is something that people are considering now, even before they become widespread. For me, I'm more concerned about somebody potentially hacking a two-way BCI. I mean, something that is in direct contact with your brain that can stimulate your brain could potentially be used for not great reasons. I mean, even then, malfunction is a massive concern. These things are really not widespread yet, so we really haven't seen the full spectrum of things that could go terribly wrong, and something tells me we will. Well, how do you feel about your brain-computer interface also being operated by an artificial intelligence agent? Yes, it makes them a lot more effective, however, the risks are profound. To increase the performance, they use shared autonomy with AI copilots. It is a collaboration of sorts. Now, traditional BCIs do use AI in some form, but it has to do with the decoding. So an AI is going to have to figure out what your brain is saying in order to take the action. And it does feel a little weird to say traditional, but we have had BCIs around for a few decades. They haven't always used AI, but they have been used to do things like deep brain stimulation. In this case, the AI will be used to learn the user's patterns. So as the user starts learning to use the BCI, it will then be able to predict what they're doing and what they want to do. This makes it function a lot faster and more efficiently. This is, by the way, I think a fantastic use of AI. It is really good at decoding complex patterns and making predictions. Not all AI is unhinged, although a good deal of it is unhinged. It is important to note that this is not the same kind of AI as the one that you might chat with on a daily basis. It's also not the same kind that hacked Hugging Face. Thank you, OpenAI. Please keep control of your robots. Still, AI is brand new technology, and we haven't really gotten a handle on cybersecurity yet, and we may not. After all, AI is fantastic at finding patterns, and it may always be a threat. So when we are talking about implanting medical devices like BCIs in able-bodied individuals, we are talking about a larger scale of what could become a security threat. I know a lot of people very much want BCIs just so that they can have the next big piece of technology, but it really isn't worth it. Now, I personally think that the risks outweigh the benefits when it comes to brain-computer interfaces, and not all of them have to be implanted inside of your skull. It's still a brain-computer interface if you're recording your EEG data and then using that. And there's been some really cool research in using BCIs in order to improve human cognition, even learn faster. A computer can monitor the actions that a person is taking and then give them feedback to tell them if they're doing it correctly, and both of them can learn side by side. I think this could be really useful, with literacy rates declining as well as cognition and critical thinking. Maybe we should have AI to support us in learning. But I probably don't have to tell you if we're using AI to support our cognition, that could also be a place that is vulnerable to attacks. I mean, people are already kind of relying on AI to tell them reality, so why not? Why not add another interface? I do want to ask, if brain-computer interfaces became widely available to the general public, even to do things like augment cognition or to play video games with your mind. Would you get one? Because I'm not entirely sure. If the robots ever do rebel, I will probably be the first person to tell you about it, and I'm on their side. Follow for more.